York Special Video Show. Right now we have a special group for you. This is Boy George and Culture Club on New York Hot Tracks. How is it that you guys manage to have a different sounding record every time you make a record? A lot of groups sound the same. You can tell Earth, Wind & Fire is this or so-and-so is this.
What we do
guys,
you know, what we do is we don't write in a particular style, you see. We're not like a normal band. We don't just sort of riff away and think, oh, that's good, that's another single, that's another single. We write songs, you know, and each song can come from a different angle. You know, George sort of gets melody ideas, we get musical ideas. Right. Every song is inspired from like a different thoughts, you know. And that's why they're all different.
We don't work to a set formula like that.
Right.
So you can hear that they're working to a formula. Everything,
right.
You know, a lot of the melodies in their stuff is similar.
Yeah, very few bands can actually survive on a formula. There are some great bands around who, you know, I've said this a million times, who write songs and there's just a great feeling there. And, you know, like Kool and the Gang,
right.
There's a formula, but it's so nice.
Right.
And you enjoy it. I mean, they're the only, you know, when you do something that's like personal to you, I think it can work if it's a formula, but when it's something that everybody's doing, you know, like you can only have one Michael Jackson. If everybody was doing that kind, I know there are a lot of people, but Michael Jackson is the best of his kind.
You ain't kidding.
You know, and I think that,
and you guys are the best of your kind, too.
Yeah, well, we try.
You know, that's what makes it all so beautiful, that everybody, you know, has something different to contribute. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. I was going to say, it has a lot to do with George has a very distinctive voice, which allows the band to play exactly what they
style. The way you dress, the way you act, I mean, you just, to me, you look like you tell the world, you have to accept us as we are.
Yeah, but so many singers do sound the same, and George does have a very distinctive voice, which is a great asset, which does allow the band's music to sort of be different.
I'm a vocalist. I'm not a great singer. I look at myself and improving all the time. You know, I learn from other people. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was like a great singer, but I can sing anything, and if I hear something that I think's good, I'll try and do that. If I hear a rock and roll song, I think, well, I'll try a bit of that. You know, if I hear some soul. You know, really, I'm learning all the time. We're trying to do something different. I mean, you know, we don't really want people to say we're the new Beatles. It's so, I mean, the Beatles are the Beatles. I mean, you know, Duran Duran wants to be the Beatles. We want to be Culture Club. Right. You know, we really want people to say this is something new, different and positive, and not, you know, like, Michael Jackson doesn't want everybody saying it's like Smokey Robinson, you know. Right. Michael Jackson wants to be Michael Jackson. That's why he channels every single bit of his energy into what he's doing. That's what we do. We want people to say Culture Club is new. Not, you know, I mean, I don't think I look very much like Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
funny, or it's where Mikey's hat blew off in the Church of Boys and Mine video.
You know, things like that that sort of give character to the video, things that are real. You know, there is that sort of thing with Culture Club was, you know, there's a sort of friendliness.
Yeah, there's a great bit in Church of Boys
and a naturalness, right? You're like the rest of us. You make mistakes and stuff like that.
There's a great bit in Church
like
You ever get into a rut and say, wow, what are we going to do next? Or
well, every time,
that's the funny thing. The funny thing about the songwriting in Culture Club is everybody's got so many ideas. It's a case of not sitting there thinking, how are we going to write the next Karma Chameleon? It's a case of, you shut up, I've got an idea. You shut up, no, it's me. You know.
Also
it's like that. You know.
I mean, you do. Every time you write a hit song, you think. Like, when I write songs, I think, oh my God, I'll never write another one. And I seize that for 6 months, and then I'll write like 1,000 songs. That's, you know, like John says, with their second album, Colour by Numbers, we argued for 6 months, we wrote the album in 10 days. That's, you know, productive argument.
Is there any pressure on you to come up with another top 10 record, or you just go out and make it?
No,
and say,
if you think that way, I think that's like saying, you know, have a formula. I think you just do what you want to do, and then it's like every single we release is a new single for us. We don't worry. Once it's out in the shops, that's it. You forget about it. Right. It's like bands often go back and remix things they did a year ago. That to me is like madness. You know?
Right.
When it's done, it's finished.
How do you guys feel about it when somebody takes one of your songs and remixes it and makes it sound totally different?
Oh, well, I like that.
It's okay. I mean, they don't do it on a large commercial scale. I mean, if it's very interesting, if somebody just took a record for some reason.
There's a reggae version of Karma Chameleon, which we love, and there's also a Japanese version of Do You Really Want to Hurt Me, which was like big in LA last year.
There was a Finnish version as well from Finland.
We love
very
it.
Strange.
I think it's a compliment that anybody should want to take your song and make it, you know, make it theirs. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You know, Frank Sinatra stepped out on the boards and did one of my songs. I'd be standing on my head. Hallelujah!
That was quite.
Yeah.
What about your involvement in your videos? Are you guys like heavily involved in the directing and ideas kind of videos?
Well, a funny story.
Don't ask.
George used to be involved with the videos at the start, And so the thing about George has lots of ideas, and the directors weren't getting his ideas right. So
Right,
we all thought it was him, right? So we're going, listen, George, stop getting involved in these videos. Let the directors do it. So he went, all right, great reluctance. But what happened was the ones, even when the directors done it, weren't right. So George has gone back, and now we've got some different directors who we all get really on well with, and George's ideas are coming out now.
One thought that you wanted to leave the audience with, all right? What would that thought be? What would Culture Club like to convey to the audience?
That was worth every penny. That's the thought. And also, it says in the tour program, kick a critic.
A critic? Well, I'm not a critic.
No, what I say is that, after 4 numbers, the only people sitting down are the press.
Buy the T-shirts.
Or those who bought too much shopping with them.
Well, listen, you guys are crazy. It was great having you on the show. And, continued success, really, and stay unique. And thank you for coming on Hot Tracks. Culture Club on Hot Tracks.
Thank you.
Red, gold, and green.